Right now, a 19-year-old is hospitalized after being shot multiple times tonight. The suspect is still on the loose. We have a live report from the scene.
And why Madison police have had trouble holding on to officers, what they say is fueling that high turnover rate.
Plus, preserving a village's history. There's an app for that, and a teenager committed to the cause.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
And thanks for joining us tonight. We do have that developing story in Rock County. Police actively searching for at least one suspect after a shooting on 10th Street in Beloit.
The victim was rushed to the hospital. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter is live on the scene with the latest on the suspect and the victim's condition. Adam.
Well, Eric and Danica, Beloit police say they're not sure exactly how this all started, but that they are sure of exactly where this all started. And that's near the intersection of 10th Street and St. Lawrence on Beloit's west side. That's where they say they got a call around 6:20 this evening. And when they responded, they found a 19-year-old with life-threatening gunshot wounds and a suspect nowhere to be found. Now, the Beloit Police Department is not naming that 19-year-old victim at this point tonight, but say he was transported to a nearby hospital with life-threatening gunshot wounds. They say at this point he's in critical condition, but he is stable at this time. Now, as for a suspect, Beloit police say they are canvassing the local neighborhoods, trying to find something that can help them. But again, they say this is very early on in their investigation.
At this point, we're still trying to determine what led up to the incident. As I said, we are here working the scene, interviewing witnesses, and we don't have any additional information as to what may have led up to the incident. It's very early stages of the investigation at this point.
Now, Beloit police say they're getting help tonight from the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office and their canine unit. And you heard Beloit Police Chief David Zabalski just there, and he said tonight there is no active threat to this local community. He says that he does believe the suspect and the victim knew each other and that this was a targeted shooting. We'll continue to keep you updated on our website, channel3000.com, as more details roll in at this time.
Adam Duxter reporting for us. Thank you, Adam. A Rock County jury will reconvene tomorrow morning after deliberating for a few hours on a Janesville homicide case. Julian Collazo is accused of stabbing 43-year-old Christina Scasia Lubeck inside her home in 2017. The jury heard from witnesses over the past 3 days, including Collazo himself. We'll be keeping a close eye on that decision, and we'll share the verdict as soon as it comes down on channel3000.com. In the last 5 years, 53 officers quit the Madison Police Department.
And the interim chief says the number of officers leaving each year keeps growing. Amy Reed joins us now to show us how the city is looking to change this. Amy?
Staffing for police has been a big topic lately. It's the reason former Chief Goval said he was done. One alder we spoke with today, though, said the problem isn't bringing in more officers, it's getting them to stay.
Trick or treat.
If only every day as a police officer could be this good.
Grab a piece of candy.
But the calls officers usually respond to are more stressful, and that stress can build. Over the past 5 years, 53 police officers have resigned, not retired, from the Madison Police. 33 had been there less than 3 years.
There's certainly a real direct line between our staffing and our retention.
Interim Chief Victor Wall said there's a lot going into their decision, but number one is workload. Officers being stretched to cover shifts because the staffing isn't there. He said they need 31 more officers, but the 2020 city budget currently isn't written to give any more than 12.
I struggle with that number when I look at how many openings they have in the department based on retirements and resignations.
Alder Keith Furman is on the Finance Committee, which primarily oversees the budget. He said there isn't enough to hire 31 officers, a cost of about $1.7 million. And he said the staffing numbers show an issue with keeping officers, which is why he hopes to fund incentive programs instead.
We've got a fantastic department, but just, we need to figure out what it will take to keep people in what is a difficult job.
Hey, trick or treat!
But on the days that don't look like this one, where the bad guys are actual bad guys, the chief said the best thing the city could do is bring in more police to help.
We simply can't have a workload that keeps expanding, a city that keeps growing, and not have staffing to match that. Something will have to give.
There are other factors here, but the chief said staffing is number one. As far as the budget goes, no funding for more officers has been approved, but full council could change that. There's about $160,000 left to play with, but even the least expensive option, adding 3 officers, costs $168,000.
A very interesting discussion. Amy Reed reporting on. Amy, thank you.
Turning things over now to weather. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canulty with that first alert forecast. Gary?
Well, Danica, we had some showers move through this evening, but they're moving through pretty quickly. You can see on Weather Track the bulk of the rain now shifting east of Madison over toward the Milwaukee area. There was a band of heavier showers that moved just south and east of Madison. Now those are running from around Beloit over toward Milwaukee, and west of Madison, the showers have either quit or just diminished to a little bit of drizzle. High temperatures today were in the middle 50s thanks to the sunshine we had for much of the day, but now temperatures with the rain have dropped into the upper 30s to the lower 40s, and by tomorrow morning as skies clear out, we'll be in the middle 30s. Look for partly sunny skies tomorrow, but we'll see a cooler day with a high of 45. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Madison's Engineering Division continues to hear from the public to talk about ongoing flooding issues. Tonight, a forum at the Elver Park Neighborhood Center, not far from where James Sewell drowned last summer, swept away by rushing floodwaters near Green Tree Park.
We know that floods are serious. They can be deadly, but we can try to prevent the rising water as much as possible so we have a resilient infrastructure for the future.
These meetings allow the public to take part in the watershed studies to help city engineers identify those trouble spots and also find solutions. The next meeting is next Tuesday at the Meadow Ridge Library on Raymond Road.
Madison police are looking at surveillance video, trying to figure out who left a gun on Leopold Elementary School grounds. The unloaded weapon was picked up yesterday by a 5-year-old. Police say a school employee was able to quickly recover it from the child. This is the second time, though, in a little over a year, a gun has been found on that property. A Missouri cattle farmer will be in court tomorrow for an initial appearance after he was officially charged with killing 2 Wisconsin brothers. Court documents claim 25-year-old Garland Nelson fatally shot Nick and Justin Diemel of Schwano County after they had driven to his farm to collect a $250,000 check. Police say he then burned their bodies and tried to hide the remains in manure. The 2 were first reported missing in July.
A new Marquette Law School poll reveals how Wisconsin voters feel about impeachment proceedings. 799 people were surveyed last week. 46% say there is enough cause for the impeachment proceedings. 49% say there is not enough. A slightly bigger gap when asked if President Trump should be removed from office. 44% in favor, 51% against, but far fewer people wanted him out in polling from earlier this year. The U.S. House unanimously passes a bill that makes animal cruelty now a federal felony. The PACT Act, it stands for Preventing Animal Cruelty and Torture. It still awaits a vote in the Senate, which has yet to be scheduled. Currently, federal law only explicitly prohibits animal fighting. Vice President Pence back in D.C. tonight after an afternoon stop in Wisconsin. He toured Uline, a packaging company in Pleasant Prairie, and there he talked about turning up the heat on congressional Democrats to pass the U.S.-Mexico trade agreement, Canada trade agreement. He canceled a planned trip to Marinette so that he could return to join the president as he updated the nation on developments in Syria.
County health leaders have confirmed a bat found on the north side of Madison has tested positive for rabies. The bat was found on the sidewalk on Forester Drive near Warner Park on Saturday.
Because this bat was found in a public space, anybody could have been going by. That's why we put out the press release to get the word out saying, well, if you had contact with this bat, please give us a call so we can talk to you about what the potential risks are.
This is the 4th bat in Dane County to test positive for rabies this year, the 28th statewide. Demolition is set to start later this fall for the Valor on Washington. That building will be the largest facility of its kind in the country, providing housing and services for veterans and their families. This will go up on East Washington Avenue across from the Metro bus offices. Veterans will get preference for all 59 apartments there. Dry Hooch, a nonprofit for veterans, is also moving its space to the bottom floor. When a Waunakee teenager discovered his town did not have its own historic preservation committee, he took matters into his own hands by visiting grave sites.
Jamie Perez shares his story of how he's hoping to document history through an app and how he's turning his hobby into an important history lesson. Jamie?
Well, Sam Kaufman is a junior in high school, and his love for his community goes way back. His family was among the original settlers here in Dane County, and some of them in Waunakee helped build many of the roads and bridges that are still used today. Now he's making his own mark in history by making sure that no one is forgotten. Sam Kaufman spends his free time at cemeteries around Dane County, taking photos of all the graves.
This is a hobby he picked up after discovering a website called Find a Grave.
Find a Grave was created by a gentleman in Utah in the mid-90s, basically to document famous graves around the country, because people would go on vacation and they'd be like, oh, I want to find the grave of this author or actor or something, and they didn't have an easy way to find it digitally. So he created that, and he thought, well, I already have this site, why don't we just open it up to everybody?
Yeah, he knows his history.
Yes.
Sam goes down every row to learn more about the history of his hometown and the people in it.
Learning experience that you can't get in a classroom.
He takes those photos and uploads them to the Find a Grave website through an app on his phone. He goes through every single one to add as much information about that person as he can.
So here's one that I made in town here, and it has all the relatives linked here.
He's done this for a lot of cemeteries and said at just one closest to his home,
I added over 500 memorials, and I would say at least 800 photographs.
His goal here is to make a difference, doing something that he can uniquely call his own.
I see young people caring about, national issues, things like climate change, gun control, etc. But something like this, I don't see anybody else doing. And I always like to be a difference maker and do things differently.
He's definitely doing something different, and cemeteries are typically a place for those who are no longer living. But Sam said being there is what he lives for.
I think it's important for people to know about their history, because as people pass on, oftentimes many of the stories go with them.
As Sam continues to take the history of Waunakee's people into his own hands.
This is a lasting contribution that's very positive.
He's hoping his passion can be passed on to others so that no one is ever forgotten, no matter where they are.
Every single town in America needs to have someone like me doing this. That's my goal.
Find a Grave is a free website that anyone can use, and if you're interested in learning more about it, I have more information on our website at channel3000.com.
Good job, Sam. He's making a difference. Jamie, thank you. Still ahead tonight, a call for help for a Madison tradition.
Plus, it's been dubbed the biggest treehouse in the world, and it's burned down in a matter of minutes. The video when we come back. Welcome back. The world's largest treehouse no longer exists tonight after being burned to the ground overnight. It was located in Crossville, Tennessee, about 100 miles east of Nashville. The Cumberland County Fire Department says the fire started around 11:30 last night. The treehouse was destroyed in just 15 minutes. The 100-foot tall structure took nearly a decade to make. It was held up by 7 massive trees and included staircases, windows, rooms, and even terraces. Some scary moments for riders stuck on a ride at Universal Orlando. A spokeswoman says the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster had a glitch and stopped just before a big loop on the track. Rescuers used platforms and lifts to help get the riders off that roller coaster. There were no reports of any injuries.
All right, if you missed Sir Elton John last week in Milwaukee, you will get another chance. He's adding another Milwaukee show to his farewell Yellow Brick Road tour. The Rocket Man will play at Fiserv Forum again in the spring. It'll be April 28th. Elton John's farewell tour actually started back in 2018. It is slated to go until 2021. A pair of time capsules were opened today at Spring Harbor Middle School. They were discovered during reconstruction last year. One from 1958 when the school was built, the other from 1997 when it was renovated to a middle school. And today they opened them both. Some of the things they found inside: historical information about the original design of the building, various newspapers, coins, and school materials, even a Bible signed by all of the previous superintendents. A popular dance club on Willie Street will be closing next month. On Facebook today, the owner of Prism says the club will close for good November 9th. That building was formerly Plan B. It opened back in 2009 and then changed its name to Prism in 2014.
Volunteers are needed to help with an annual tradition along University Avenue this weekend, putting up tens of thousands of holiday lights. The Kamer Family Foundation's annual setup event is this Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. Around 120,000 lights will cover nearly 230 trees. If you would like to help, we have the contact information over on channel3000.com. It'll certainly feel chilly enough this weekend to start getting in the holiday zone. I know it's not super cold, Gary, but
not cold enough for snow to stick to the ground, but there could be
not.
some flakes of snow in the forecast, especially as we head into the middle of next week. Now, tonight, all the precipitation was in the form of rain. And there were a couple of spots that picked up to maybe close to an inch of rain just southwest of Dubuque, Iowa, maybe from around Monroe to just south and east of Madison over toward Milwaukee. But then other areas picked up very little rain. It just depends on where you were in relation to the heavier showers. But as we look at weather track right now, you can see the showers heading off toward the east, and things actually pretty quiet out there. As we look at Doppler track, you can see those showers heading through the Milwaukee area. Looks like we've jumped back here in the graphics, but once those showers move on out, we'll see skies start to clear later on tonight, and that I think will put an end to the rain chances, at least for the next couple of days. Again, we'll loop through this here with the radar if we can get the computer to run. For some reason, it seems to be locked up again. We'll see how this loads up here, but again, those showers have moved on out. We're looking for just relatively quiet conditions for the rest of tonight, and then for the next couple of days, we should see dry weather. Notice out to the west, no precipitation. But if we take a look at the computer models for next week, this is all the way through Thursday morning, just right before Halloween, and you see very little rain over that time period. You add it all up in just a couple 100ths of an inch, at least according to the U.S. GFS computer model. The European computer model, a little different story. Quite a bit of precipitation to our north and west, especially across Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. Now, take a look at this. This is the snowfall forecast, maybe a couple of inches according to the GFS computer model Wednesday night through parts of eastern Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin. Then maybe a few more flurries or some very light snow as we head into Halloween itself to our south and east. Madison right now looks precipitation free, but take a look at the European computer model and the possibility for several inches of snow, maybe a fairly significant snowstorm over parts of southeastern Minnesota. Again, this will be Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday night, and then perhaps as we head into later in the day on Friday, that second little band of snow moving mainly toward the Chicago, Milwaukee areas. You have to wait and see. Right now, I don't think we're going to see any snow that sticks to the ground here in Madison. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam. The rain has pretty much ended in Madison. High today 54, the low 39, and we're just above that now. Current temperature is 41. Some light rain at the airport. Winds are out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Our forecast for tonight calls for cloudy skies with showers ending. Then it'll turn partly cloudy by morning with a low temperature of 34. Tomorrow will be partly sunny and cooler day, high temperature topping out at 45 degrees. On future track, notice the skies clearing out overnight, low temperatures in the middle 30s. Highs tomorrow, middle 40s with partly sunny skies. Tomorrow night, mostly clear skies, low temperatures dropping into the upper 20s, and then look for high temperatures in the mid to upper 40s on Friday with sunny skies. As we look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, a slight chance of a shower Saturday night into Sunday. Otherwise, the weekend looking pretty nice. The colder weather moves in for the middle of next week. Around here, just a mixture of rain and snow showers. Highs of upper 30s to lower 40s. I think that's a little too warm for snow to stick to the ground. But again, farther north in the Midwest, possibility for some accumulating snow. They've already seen it in the Dakotas. So.
It won't be long. It
No,
won't be long.
definitely
no
not. Thanks, Gary.
Sure.
Patrick Mahomes practices in Kansas City today. Is there a chance he could suit up and play against the Packers on Sunday? Story coming up in sports.
News.
Packer quarterback Aaron Rodgers is the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. He threw for 5, ran for 1 touchdown Sunday. That's the Rodgers' 17th Player of the Week award. That's a Packers franchise record. Of course, the Packers play at Kansas City Sunday night, and guess who's back at practice in Kansas City today? That's Patrick Mahomes, who went through a limited workout. Mahomes was supposed to be out at least 3 weeks with a dislocated kneecap, but head coach Andy Reid still doesn't rule out the chance Mahomes could play Sunday against the Packers.
Yeah, I think you always got to prepare for the quarterback, especially when he's out there practicing. But there's so much to prepare for when you look at their offense, whether he plays or not.
The Badger football team hasn't played at Ohio State since 2013, but they'll be back in Columbus this weekend. Wisconsin and Ohio State, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. It's the national game on Fox. Ohio State's a 14-point favorite at home. The Buckeyes ranked third in the country. They've beaten the Badgers 9 of the last 10 meetings since 2007. But the Buckeyes know the Badgers will put up a fight, especially on the heels of last weekend's disappointment at Illinois.
We got to prepare better than we have all year, and we know that this is a good team. I mean, they played against teams we played against, and so you can compare the competition, and they've done a really good job. Obviously, it starts with the running back and the run game on offense, and then it goes to what Coach Leonard's doing on defense, and they do a great job. And we've gone up against them before, and we know schematically they're really good, and they play tough. They're smart, all the above.
The Milwaukee Bucks open their NBA regular season tomorrow night at Houston. The home opener is Saturday night against Miami. Eric Bledsoe is back. He looked like he'd be out the first week or two of the season with a ribcage injury, but the Bucks starting point guard is cleared to play and ready to start tomorrow. When asked how he healed so fast, Bledsoe said he had no idea. He's just worried about getting off to a fast start and doing things better than last year.
Everybody had, a lot of success last year, as a team-wise, individual-wise. But we're looking to take that next step. We got to do it again.
But he just helps us hold everything together. Lets me do my job, honestly, his job. Everybody's just out there. He's able to do what they do when he's out there on the floor, just because how he's able to create shots for everybody and make sure everybody keeps involved.
Managing Director Peter Wilt is leaving Forward Madison FC to take a job at the United Soccer League. Wilt has been with the Flamingos since day one in 2018. He'll work with communities in new and existing USL markets to promote fan engagement. Brewers outfielder Christian Yelich wins the Hank Aaron Award as the National League's top hitter today. Yelich hit 44 homers, won his second straight NL batting title at .329 despite missing the last month of the season with a broken kneecap. The Angels' Mike Trout was named the top hitter in the American League. And it looks like David Ross is going to be the next manager of the Chicago Cubs. They're expected to announce it tomorrow. Ross was an emotional leader of the Cubs' World Series championship team in 2016. He'll replace Joe Madden as the manager of the Chicago Cubs. And we'll be right back.
Gary's back with one more check on the weather.
Well, the rain's moving out pretty quickly. The heavier showers now are from Milwaukee southeastward toward Lake Geneva. Temperatures are in the upper 30s to lower 40s, so it definitely has cooled off. The winds, though, have shifted to the northwest, and that'll bring in cooler weather for tomorrow. No wind gusts. That's something new compared to the last couple of days.
No kidding.
But temperatures mid-50s by the weekend, and then rain and snow showers in the middle of next week. But Halloween should be dry.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great night.
Now.